This is a glorious opportunity if I've ever seen it, because if you're any
Glorious.
team in the Canadian division and you are struggling or you're coming off a loss, you look at the schedule, there is nothing, and I mean nothing better to see than the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
And that is what the Leafs have next week. 3 games on home ice against the Ottawa Senators. So, what are you expecting as the Leafs come in? They have the best record in the NHL, but they're coming off this loss to the Habs. So, what are you expecting to see against the Sens in these 3 games next week?
Okay. Well, I think a lot of Leafs fans are looking at this week and looking at it as kind of, how do I put this? Not as important as, say, these games against Montreal, or because we're battling for the top of a division, or even those games against Edmonton that had a lot of hype because we were finding out who teams were and the whole Draisaitl McDavid thing. But I am looking at this week against Ottawa as maybe the most important week of the season so far. We are playing a team that is at the bottom of not only the division standings, but the NHL standings. This team has been nothing short of embarrassed in many of their games. They're not getting goaltending. They're not getting scoring. Their defensive play is terrible. Like you said, 3 games against this team at home. I want the Toronto Maple Leafs to put their foot down, both in the way of the standings. We mentioned Montreal has that week off. So get those points, force them to panic. And this is a full show me week for the Toronto Maple Leafs, because this team in the past would blow opportunities like this. They would go in there, get a loss, and we'd be fighting for our lives later for positioning because we blew games earlier in the season. These 3 games are an opportunity. And we talked earlier about Nylander and Tavares struggling. Well, now you're playing the Ottawa Senators 3 times in a row. Go get 7 points in 3 games. Light it up. I don't want to minimize these 3 games at all. And I don't want Leafs fans to minimize it. And I really hope the players are not looking at this as a cakewalk, because we have seen the last few games from Ottawa, they've had some improvements. They won last night. They beat Montreal. Was it last week? They've been in some games. They were in some games against Winnipeg that they lost, that they also could have won. I want to see a heck of an effort from the Leafs in these 3 games. And I hate to say I want to see the Leafs embarrass someone, but I want to see the Leafs embarrass the Ottawa Senators in at least one of these games. And I'm hoping, I don't want to put like a points number on it, say, I expect 4 points or 5 points or 6 points, but I better see some dominating play in these 3 games. That's how I see it anyway.
This is your opportunity to separate yourself in the division. And especially with the Habs having their week off, this Senators team is terrible. 3 wins in 16 games, a minus 30 goal differential. They're a stone disaster. So this is the ultimate get right spot.
Yeah.
If you want to get your confidence up, if you want Nylander and Tavares to start scoring some goals at 5-on-5, if you want, even some of your D-men to start contributing a little bit more offensively, you want to get Morgan Riley going a little bit more, even though he's been solid so far, this is the opportunity against a team like this. You have to absolutely punish a team like this. So
good word, Bruno, punish.
And that's really all there is to it. You cannot afford to lose 2 games to these guys, or even go into overtime in a couple of games. These are games that you need to dominate at 5-on-5 and win in regulation. And will I be extremely disappointed if the Leafs go 2-1? No. I'll be fine with that. But this is a team, based on how poorly they've been playing and based on the talent discrepancy, that the Leafs should be absolutely dominating. So it's going to be a very, very interesting week for the Leafs. We're going to hope to see some great hockey ahead. Lepore, any closing thoughts you had before we wrap this up?
I'm just, like I said, I'm just really looking forward to those 3 games, because I want the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm still in full show me mode, and I want the Leafs to show me who they are. Like, you look at their record, and they're 11-3-1, and you have that fear that they're going to relax. Go 14-3-1. Go in there and win all 3 of those games. Show me that you're dialed in. Show me that you want to win this division. Show me that you want to show off to the rest of the league who the Toronto Maple Leafs are. So far, so good with this season. Let's keep it rolling, man. Let's keep it rolling. Don't take this Ottawa Senators team lightly, because again, I'm from Ottawa. I know the Sens take these games against the Leafs very personally, and I expect Ottawa to put up a fight. So don't take them lightly. You're more talented than them. Show us you're more talented. And I'm excited for these 3 games. I really am. And that's what I was kind of referring to earlier, in the way that I'm sure a lot of Leafs fans are kind of brushing these games aside. I am not. This to me is an important week for the season for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Very well said, Lepore. You have those 3 games against the Senators, and if they're able to beat up on them, they're going to have another showdown against the Montreal Canadiens on Saturday night. So it should be a very, very interesting week ahead for the Toronto Maple Leafs.